Welcome to Cooking with Andrea. Today we are going to be making chili verde, basically green chili. It's super yummy. And everybody thinks, oh, it's a traditional like Latin dish. You can make it that way. But also, when you have enough chili verde, you can also make it a white rice with just green chili sauce and nice pieces of pork over it. It already will have onion in it. It'll have some tomatoes, some tomatillos, some bell peppers, some poblano, and we have jalapenos. First, and we're going to also have garlic, and it's going to be delicious. So we're going to get started. I'm going to turn my New Wave induction cookware on, and we're going to start it. We're going to do a hot pot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. I'm going to drop it to 260. I don't want it to get too hot too fast. All I'm going to do is put a sear on my pork. So we're going to put about a tablespoon. That's about a teaspoon. That's about a tablespoon. About a tablespoon of oil in. I just don't want to burn my meat. But I wanted to show you my pork. Right here I had almost 12 pounds worth of pork. I took 3 pounds and I cut it up already. This portion I will use in my crock pot because I would like to have Reuben sandwiches and sliced pork so we can have nice sliced pork at night with mashed potatoes or baked potatoes and some vegetables. So I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side. But I just wanted to show you how I got my pork. And it's a boneless pork shoulder. And it's going to be excellent. It's got a little bit of fat because when you're making chili verde, you need a little bit of fat because you really don't add any fat anywhere else except for the meat. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get started. I'm going to put this in the fridge and we're going to start. But I didn't want to touch it with my hands because I just got done washing my hands. So I was like, oh man, I don't want to make a mess. So we're just going to put it right here. And we are good to go. Okay, pan is heating. Okay, so here is, I'm going to move my veg for a minute. I'm going to switch. We're going to deal with meat now so I could get a nice wash on these hands. Wait a minute, I need to put my pan here so that I can show you guys. So I'm going to just put my oil all the way around. Come on, don't be difficult. I'm gonna move my other vegetables. I just got done picking vegetables in the garden. I washed them already. Just have a little bit of wet on the bottom, trying to let them dry off a little bit. Oops, don't throw them on the floor. Good Lord. So we're just gonna let them drain a little bit. So I have 3 pounds of meat. I went ahead and pulled it off. There's a little bit of fat on here, but not very much. Okay, my pan is nice and hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it off because I want to season something first. I've got some lemon pepper. This is how I do my chili verde. And I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle it on. No set season amount. I don't want to get crazy and do a lot because I want good flavor. I don't want super salty, but like I said, not really adding any salt or any fat anywhere else except for the chicken stock. But normally I use low sodium. Just, that getting old thing is a trip. You have to be careful. So let me put this in here. Okay, so we're going to throw one piece. Oh, you hear the sizzle. We're ready. We don't want to overcrowd our pan. We want to get a nice sear on our meat. A little bit more. It doesn't have to be perfect either. It's going to be delicious. And then what we do is we turn around and we boil the pork so that it's just fantastic. Okay, we're good there. Okay, we're going to keep messy hand here. Just going to let everything sear. We're done with lemon pepper. We're good. So we're going to put that over there. So one of the things we're going to do as soon as we get this pork cooked off, then we're going to turn around and we're going to add some beef stock and some seasonings and we're going to let that go. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get another pan out because that's how I'm going to transfer when my meat is done. So I'm going to do it like that. So now I can move this closer so that you guys can see. Okay, we're going to do one batch. And then what I'm going to do is start my vegetables. I'm going to get them cut up because I want to get them boiling. So a lot of people roast their tomatillos and their peppers and stuff. I don't. Sometimes when I want to do it that way, I do. But I will not do them in the house. I take them out to the grill and do them. But honestly, the way I'm making chili verde is the way I grew up. And then my mom and dad also made multiple dinners out of our chili verde. We'd have burritos, we'd have it with rice and beans. Sometimes my mom would do this green chili sauce over egg noodles. We like noodles in our family. We're big pasta people. Man, this green chili is so good in a casserole. You would not believe how good it is. Okay, so I got sear on my stuff. I'm going to raise my temp just a little bit higher. And then what I also have on the bottom of this pan, which is I'm going to transfer the meat back to this pan. And this is what I'm going to simmer, like bring to a boil and then a low boil for about 2 hours until the meat is tender. Try to be real precise when you're cutting your meat up. Like I said, don't worry about the fat content. Fat, it will dissipate or it'll stay on the meat, but you do need a little bit of fat on the pork because pork can be very lean. So what we're going to do is, this is fine. We're going to dump it here. And then what I'm going to do is, because you have the gist of it, we'll do it again. I'm not going to add any more oil. We got this. My pan is seasoned now. So we're good. Now we can just throw it in. And it'll start cooking. And you can have more meat if you want. I just do about 3 pounds. I always have extra pork cooked anyways. And so I'm always good. If you think it needs oil, add a little bit of more oil. No big deal. But one thing good about some of the pieces of pork I kept the fat on there on purpose. I'm going to go ahead and wash my hand. Okay, we got some good cleanser here. Okay, we're going to clean again. And we're going to wash one more time just to get the grease off my hands. But it's like something you have to be careful that you don't really use gloves too often on because it can, if you slip, you can burn yourself. So you want to be in control of cooking the meat. But you can wear gloves if you choose to. I just choose not to. I'd rather wash my hands a million times. I'm one of those weird people that washes my hands all the time. I'm just going to do a little bit. Okay, so we've got this cooking. Now what I'm going to do is put the meat over here. And we're just going to keep cooking, keep cooking. But you guys kind of basically see how I've got a little bit of brown on that. That looks beautiful. And then everything will come together. Oh yeah. And then we're going to get those bits at the bottom. And we're good. So I have 10 cloves of garlic here. So I took and went ahead and peeled them because it makes a mess. So I have 10. I'm also going to take and turn my water on. In my Dutch oven, I have a pan. I have water over here. I'm going to turn it and get it on high and get it boiling. Because what I'm going to do is get the vegetable done. Well, that's cooking. Just going to go ahead and go half. And half again. I'm going to go ahead and peel the top layer off. And then what I'm going to do is put my veg right in here. I'm going to dump my pan just a little bit because I had a little bit of water from cooking from cleaning my vegetable. Okay. Keep scraping. That is bits. It's delicious. Reason I'm kind of doing it like this is so that you guys get the idea of what I'm doing and how long this does take. Okay, so we got the onion. I'm going to use an onion and a half. Even though it's so funny, everybody goes, boy, you sure use a lot of onion. I go, yeah. Just because I don't like the crunch, I love the onion. But, you know, because chili verde green sauce is going to be pureed, we're fine. I don't have to worry about it. Like today, I don't have to, you know, I always kill my my garlic because I do not like chunks of garlic. I love garlic, but I do not like big old chunks of garlic. I don't think it tastes good. But I use a lot of garlic and onion when I'm doing beans and stuff because I want things done from scratch and I want to do it that way just because it's better for me and because I eat a lot of it, so I love it. So, okay, onion's done. Pork is crispy. And we just want it to get a little bit of brown. Also, if you do it this way, pork will keep its shape better. Pork shreds, so you have to be very careful with pork when you're working with pork, otherwise you'll have shredded pork. And I'm not a big fan of shredded pork. I only like barbecue pulled pork shredded, and only tamale meat shredded. I never cube my pork meat when I make tamales. Everything has to be shredded. So this is another reason why you do this. You'll keep your cube, and it's perfect. Okay, so we got our onion done. Got some bell peppers out of my garden. I'm going to use 3. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking everything, and I don't really want any seeds because I'm going to puree everything. So what I'm doing is just going to get everything cleaned up and chopped. Because I'm going to tell you something too. I'm going to keep my chili water or my boiling water. I'm going to keep it to make sure I have enough spice, because I don't believe that Mexican food has to be super spicy. Not all of it, or any food for that matter. You know, we got to wash fingers, make sure we don't cut no fingers off here. And then what I'll do is I'll give a rough little chop there, but no cutting fingers off today. Then what we'll do is after, we're going to go ahead and puree our sauce. Okay. Okay, so we're good. Meat is done. So basically I'm going to stop what I'm doing right here for a minute because we got the gist of the meat, and then what I'll do is go back and finish the meat off. But now I want to concentrate on the vegetable. Even though I cleaned the vegetable already, I'm going to go rinse it again. And I'm just cutting these up kind of rough. I'm going to take every part of this vegetable I can. So like I said, 3 bell peppers. Some people don't even use bell peppers in their chili verde. But I want my chili verde to be a certain color. And I want it to taste the way it tasted when we were growing up. I'm so blessed. We got some vegetables still in our garden. Oh man, today it's kind of cold though, so I'm getting a little worried. I'm thinking tomorrow I'll head out to the garden and just pull everything because I'm a little worried. Because I'm afraid everything's going to freeze. Because on our top mountain, we did get probably about 8,000 feet, we did get snow. So I'm thinking, oh man, here we go. It's our turn. It's coming. So I'm thinking I better grab the rest of the vegetables I have. Unfortunately this year, none of my watermelon or my cantaloupe made it. I do not know why. We had a late start this year because we had cold weather. So I'm not sure why it didn't make it, but none of them grew. We took a couple bites off and that's it. Strawberries are still growing. That cracks me up. Okay, so I'm cutting bell pepper here. And like I said, these beautiful bell peppers came from my garden, and I'm feeling so happy. I got quite a few out there too. Like I said, I need to go take them off, and we need to have like a stir fry or something, and do that. Okay, so here we go. And like I said, we're gonna boil these, and then we're gonna take them out. We're gonna puree them, and that's how we get our beautiful green sauce. So just a cut like that, and then what we'll do is we'll take them and put everything together. But it'll take about, look at this poblano. Usually you use 2 poblanos. This thing is huge. Oh my gosh, I was like, amazing. I couldn't believe it. So what I'm going to do is cut it up like that, get the seeds out, and just roll that. You can just roll the core right out so you don't have as many seeds in. So we're going to take the top of this poblano. Poblanos are not very hot, which is good. But don't get me wrong, poblanos can. But because you have all the liquid, you have all the tomatillo, which is a good sour note, which is beautiful, you know, it won't come out super spicy. But, you know, you do have to be careful. Remember, you can always add more chilies, or the trick I'm going to show you is you can always add your water to your mixture to make it spicier. That's why I always keep the water. Especially when I'm doing red chili, because I make a lot of red sauces, and but I keep it the green too, because like I said, it can add flavor. But once you put too much spice in, you can't go backwards. You really can't take it out. You have to suck it up and eat it really hot, which I think food like this should be more flavorful than hot. Speaking of hot, let's check our water. Water's coming along good. We are almost done. Did I put 3? Yeah, put 3 bell peppers in already. Okay, so I'm going to put a tomato in. I'm just going to go like this. This is from our garden. A lot of people don't put a red, but I do. Always put a red, because like I said, I want mine to be a certain color. And then what I'm going to do is put it in. And then here are my tomatillos. I'm going to take my tomatillos, and I'm going to wipe my board, and we'll just keep it like that. And then what I'm going to do is take these out, transfer. I cleaned my tomatillos and everything already. Tomatillos I had to buy though. I don't grow tomatillos. I never see any seeds or plants here to grow them. So basically, I'm going to leave my tomatillos whole because they're small. In the description, I'll go ahead and let you know how many I put in. Normally it would be 2 poblanos. Usually I use anywhere from 7 to 10 tomatillos, because once again, it's a color and it's a taste issue, how I grew up. So I'm not going to use my other tomato. But these are really not red tomatoes. They're like lemon tomatoes. So it's kind of interesting. They're supposed to be yellow. I don't know why they're coming out that color. And then what I'm going to do is take my jalapenos. Oh, I love my jalapenos. I love my jalapenos. Came out so nice this year. Oh my gosh, my bell peppers too. I'm so happy. So I'm just going to take this out and scrape it. Sometimes my jalapenos are a little bit smaller. Oh, but good God, these things take they'll punch you in the head. You know, they'll punch you. There's a bite to these little things. So just clean it out like that with the spoon. And remember, you're going to boil. And so you'll take them out of the boiling water. So if anything has a seed on it, it'll stay in your pot. Remember, that's how I told you get flavor too if you don't have enough spice. So never worry. There's always a motive. I'm only putting 2 though because these things can pack a punch. And I'd rather go add some more. Because when you put the sauce with your chili verde, you'll still have 45 minutes to boil, which is kind of cool. Because if you needed to add more heat, you could add more heat, no problem. Piece of cake right then and there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and just scrape this off like this. Clean up my station here a little bit. Because it is a mess. Normally I don't like to work with mess. But you know, chili verde is a lengthy video. So I don't want to spend all my time. But sometimes for videos like this, you have to show everything, otherwise a person won't get it. You can skip through the video and go back and you'll be fine. Okay, so I'm going to take my garlic and I am just going to just do like this. Just really rustic because it's going in the food processor, so I don't really need to do too much. Doesn't have to be like when I normally do it. It smells so delicious. You can smell the aroma of the garlic. So now what I'm going to do is scoop it back onto my plate. And like I said, I used 10 cloves. I'll put all the description in so that you guys have it. So everything is chopped. Everything is cooked. I'm going to give a quick wash. Let me grab a paper towel because I don't want to dirty another towel because I'm going to be dirtying more towels. Okay, so I have my extra veg here. So I'm good. Here's my veg that I cleaned off the counter. So my water's coming up to boil. I got it on high. I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of beef granule or bullion, and I'm going to put it in. That's what I'm going to boil my tomatoes, onions, and everything in. I want a little bit more season. I think season is very important. You know, that's how you develop flavors. I feel if you have enough season, you'll be fine. Everything will be good. Okay, so I'm going to turn my pan back on. It should come up real fast. I want to do a boil pot, so it should come up super fast. Chili verde is not very hard to make at all. It's actually very tasty, very delicious, and like I said, remember, use it for multiple. Normally when I cook meats, I buy 10-12 pounds of meat, and then I pre-cook, par-cook, get it all crock-potted. Usually, traditionally what I do is put it in a crock pot and I cook it, and then I put it in my fridge overnight, and it comes out nice and formed, and I'm able to slice it so I can make ribbon sandwiches. I can make roasted pork dinner that night. You know, you can do 1,000 things with it. So I try and prep because, boy, trying to get home from work, trying to get home from whatever you're doing, helping people, school, whatever, it's hard to get everything done and get good dinners cooked. Sometimes when I fail with good dinners, it's because I didn't prep and I didn't have enough time. And we run out of time during the day. Days are busy, stressful. We gotta do what we gotta do. And then to conserve money too, I try and do big quantities. So I leave my pork and use my induction because then it'll come up cheaper for me and I'll have stuff to do. Okay, everything is nice and boiling. I'm going to take my garlic, put it in. I'm going to put my onion. I'm just going to put everything in here because, like I said, I already washed my vegetables. And if I have a seed or two, it won't bother. It's going to come out in my water. And that's how I get spicy water too. So that's how I can go back and reflavor. So everything is going to go in. We're going to cook it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to break because my meat will take about 2 hours to be done entirely. So we're just going to leave it like that. Okay, we're good here. We're browning. Oh, it smells great. Smell vision. There's nothing better than browning meat. Oh my goodness. And like I said, this is how you keep your shape too. Otherwise your pork will break up and become shredded. Okay, so we're good. Okay. So I'm going to just add just a little bit. So we are good to go. Oh, and the skin is nice and brown. Okay. Just need a few minutes more to brown. And then what we're going to do is I'm actually going to hit it with 4 cups of beef broth. That's what I did. I prefer to use the bouillon like this normally, but I wanted to show you because not everybody, and this stuff is very expensive right now. You have to find it on a good deal. And then it makes it worth your while. But it is a lot cheaper than when COVID was in full swing. But I think still today we're not caught up And people need those things. We need to cook with those things. That's flavor. Okay, so veg is boiling right now, getting ready to come up to boil. I'm going to deglaze pan with this. That's when I'm going to put the rest of the brown meat, which looks beautiful. That's good brown, got good color on it. And then what I'm going to do is add my seasonings and then let this cook for about 2 hours. Then what I'll do is just boil these till tender. I'm not going to puree them until I come back, and it'll be ready to go. So our meat is pretty much ready. I'm going to go ahead and deglaze like that. I'm going to get all these bits off the bottom. You know, if you had smell vision, which, oh man, I wish we did. It smells so delicious. And this is so easy to make. Very inexpensive dish because, you know, buy your pork. It's hard to find pork on sale, but, you know, you can find it every once in a while for like $1.88 a pound. Here, that's good. I used to be able, a year and a half ago, I used to be able to buy pork for 99 cents or 98 cents per pound. Not anymore. The cheapest I found it, honestly, has been $1.26 a pound. For a good pork but kind of shoulder, because you don't want a real lean pork. Lean pork makes for dry, flaky. When you're making stews, which chili verde is kind of like a stew. It's not like it's not thin like a soup, so it's basically a green chili stew. That's why I say, remember guys, you can make this for a lot of different dishes. So what I'm going to do is I may have to add a little bit of water and a teaspoon of beef broth, or I can grab another beef broth, but I don't want to, I want it to cover the pork and boil that way. So I may have to do that, but that's what I'm going to do. I got rid of the broth that I did use. Now, if I need anything, it's 1 teaspoon to 1 cup of what you cover your pork with. So you're good. So looking good, smelling good. I can feel the bits have come off. Look at the broth. This is beautiful. Okay, we're gonna start our hot pot again. I took 1 teaspoon of cumin only. And like I said, I'll put everything in the description box. I took 1 tablespoon of oregano and 1 tablespoon of cilantro. I'm not using fresh because I'm doing chili verde. You can use fresh, but if you didn't have it, you couldn't make chili verde. And so I'm just going to stir it all in. And nothing wrong with using fresh. Go ahead, use fresh, but I don't always have fresh on hand. So I learned to use my dehydrator or my ground seasonings. They're fine. I don't have any problem. But people who want to use fresh all day long. Love fresh stuff. I promote it anyway. But also, cooking is awesome. But no joke, cooking does take time. And we want to make our families good meals and enjoy our dinners and so forth. So sometimes we have to use some ground stuff. Nothing wrong. To each his own. Tomato, we are good. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just 1 cup more of liquid. And I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of water. I'm sorry, 1 cup of liquid and 1 teaspoon of bullion. Okay, I need to turn my stove down. My veg is starting to go. Okay, so basically, I'm just going to let these soften. We're going to put 1 teaspoon in. Okay, and we are good to go. Also, it's going to be interesting to see what color the chili verde comes out too, because you have to be careful with your cumins, your red tomatoes, anything that's not green. It can change your color to make it a brown green. But it was so funny. I remember one time me and my mom and dad, we went to a restaurant, and our chili verde comes out green, but it's got that brown hue to it. And we went, and it was just bright green. And my dad's like, oh my gosh, I think there's something wrong. But it was just that they used way more tomatillos than what our family used. You know, so it's kind of what you use in it. Like a lot of people, I say don't use bell pepper, but I feel bell pepper gives it a good flavor, and it gives it a little bit of spice, but not much. Like a lot of people use quite a few jalapenos or serranos or something. To each his own. Make it your way, and remember, start out with it not so spicy. You can always add spice, but you can't take it away. So everything is going ahead and boiling. I'm going to bring this up to boil, cover it, drop it a little bit. And then as soon as these done, I'll pull them, strain them, but I'll leave them, and then we'll get the food processor out and we'll do it together. Because at that point in time, that means it'll only need 45 minutes for these two to sit and finish cooking. So we'll be back. Welcome back. Okay, pork's been cooking for about an hour and 15 minutes. We're going to try it. This is the liquid that's going to come off the pork. And I'm going to show you in a minute. But first I want to try it. Reason I say make sure your little pork pieces do about an inch thick, maybe a little bit less than an inch thick, cube-wise. Because it'll cook really well. It'll cook fast too. Because pork is one of those, if it's a good cut of pork, and the pork has to have a little bit of fat. Otherwise it'll shred. Like the pork loin is not as good for this dish. I love pork loin. I like pork actually a lot. And pork loin, and like when I eat my steak, I like a filet mignon. So I'm not one that really likes a lot of fat in my food like that. I could take a few bites of fat, but after that I'm like, no, I'm done. So, but this one, it needs to be a pork shoulder, pork butt, because it's very important that it has flavor and a little bit of fat. This is excellent. Nice. It's got a little salt to it because of the lemon pepper. Remember, we didn't add any, and any other extra salt besides the broth we added. So to me, it has a perfect. Actually, this pork is perfect. This pork is ready to go now. But we're going to stay on schedule because I've already cooked the vegetable nice and tender. This is the poblano. Look at how easy this is just going to rip apart. That's what you want your vegetables to do. This is why you don't have to take the skin off, because we boil them. So you don't have to do like traditionally. You have to take the time, have to take the skin off, boil it. Makes it 1,000 times easier. And like I said, you get so many more dishes, and it makes it a more versatile dish done like this, because you don't have a lot of smoke to it from the grill or the barbecue or even the oven. These are like our garlic pieces. They look nice. Now we just have our onion and our tomato, and I just I drained everything and just put it in the colander. And then, oh, look at our tomatillos. They look fantastic, but they're all going to mush. Look at that. Oh, they're going to squirt though when they mush. Oh, you see that? The liquid. It just came right out of the tomatillo. Onions galore. We have bell pepper. All the white stuff is all the garlic. And what we're going to do is just go in and blend this. And this is going to be our sauce along with the mixture of the pork and the pork juice with the, excuse me, with the broth and the fat of the pork. Oh, it's going to be delicious. That meat tastes exquisite. I tell you, everybody needs to try your pork like that. Like I said, it doesn't have to be traditional. You can use that pork for anything. Man, that pork's so good you could put it over a shoe and try and eat that. That's that good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to blend. And before, I don't think I really need any juice with this. If I do, we'll add more juice as I go. But I don't want to make it too liquidy, because then how do I thicken it up? I'd have to do a cornstarch slurry. Technically, I should be okay because it's not going to be super brothy. There's enough broth, but I just want to show you guys what the juice looks like. I want to show you how nice that is. Remember, we had about 5 cups of liquid because I wanted it to cover my meat when it was cooking. Now we probably only have about 2 cups, which is fine though, because this is what's going to make my chili verde thicker. Just wanted you to see that and understand how we do that. And one day, if you make it too thin, just use a cornstarch slurry. Every person has had to use a cornstarch slurry in their lifetime. So we're just going to blend this. Okay? And that's kind of what we want. So if our, excuse me, if our chili verde comes out too thick, what you would do, I don't think it will, because remember we have fat, natural fat from the pork in a little bit of broth from the liquid boiling, the boiled liquid, I should say. So if it did come out too thick, all you would do is just add a little bit of beef stock or chicken stock. Does not matter. You already have flavor developed. Okay. We're looking fantastic here. Because we put a tablespoon, actually we put a tablespoon of beef broth in here when we were boiling. Needs no salt right now. I'm gonna just grind, well, I'm gonna just blend one more time. It's to the consistency where it's thick. And boy, I don't even really taste any heat, to be honest. It's beautiful. It's not got too much heat at all. So off, it's perfect consistency. It's ground enough. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take and put it in our chili verde sauce, our meat, chili verde meat. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat and simmer. But like personally, I don't taste as much heat as I would even like. But the reason I did it this way is I can add a little bit more jalapeno to it and still have enough time to cook it down. Because this needs to now cook down just a little bit. And this is how we want to do it. This is the way it should be. This is a good color too. Now we're going to mix it up. But this is the consistency because this is how we're thickening it with the vegetables. So besides a little bit of fat from the grease of the meat, it's actually a pretty good dish. You got a lot of veg in here. And, oh, it looks good. It smells good. It smells delicious. And it's not too liquefied. Okay, and in my opinion, this is how my mom and dad taught me how to make chili verde. Now, I'm going to try something right now, though, because I mixed it in with my liquid. And I just want to see what kind of flavors I'm getting. Now that we've done the work, this is the fun part. Now we're just developing flavors we like. Okay. Everything is very good. Excuse me. My opinion, not enough heat. I'm going to do a little bit more heat, but I would say do 3 jalapenos instead of 2. I'll write that in the direction, but please start with 2, especially if you're not into spice, because this is not spicy. This is flavorful. If I didn't like spice, I'd eat the whole container of this. I put rice underneath and put this all over it, and it would be fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it back on. We're going to let it simmer for 15 minutes. We're going to go hot pot, and we're going to turn it down to 212, because for me, it's going to get rolling. I can barely taste just this wonderful little sensation. So I'll put in there, do anywhere from 2 to 5 jalapenos, but you know me, I'm pretty good at directions, and I don't want too much heat. And like I said, I do not want you to waste your money buying all this and not able to eat it. You could put a liquid sauce in there, make it hotter. You could throw a jalapeno in there. So what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to get a jalapeno from my refrigerator. And I'll tell you a trick too. Or you could just use your boiling liquid. But for me and my family, we need it just a little bit spicier than this. So what I'm going to do is cheat. I am going to put my veggies are already washed because these are from my garden. I go ahead and bring them in, let them sit, and then I wash them. So I'm going to add 2 more. And then what I'm going to do is just let them cook in here for the next 15 minutes. This way, in case they break, I'll get a few more seeds in there and it'll be a little bit spicier. And if they don't, it should still add a little bit of spice to cook them down. So that's what I always recommend. And this is fantastic. You would be very pleased, because if you did not eat spice, you would not waste anything. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to cook for 15 more minutes, 15, 20 minutes more, and we'll be back. But technically, meat is done. We're just doing the liquid and the sauce, making everything come together. We'll be back. Welcome back. Okay, chili verde is done. I don't know, every time I come on camera, I have to clear my voice. I'm sorry. So I got some Spanish rice here. Can make white rice or Spanish rice. It's up to you. And you don't really need any. But I want to show you how the chili verde looks. Looks fantastic. This is the color you want. Or you can do it more lime green too. It makes no difference. Just means you use more tomatillos than me. I use bell pepper, which a lot of people don't use bell pepper. I do. I like bell pepper. And then I get that little bit of heat in the back from the bell pepper, but not anything like a jalapeno. That's why I said, you know, me and the family were talking about it when I had tried it in front of you guys on the camera. We don't have to eat our food super spicy. We like actually more flavorful food. That's what we're known for, and that's what we really like. This is just queso fresco cheese. And then I'm just going to put a few tortilla chips. So you can grab it. But, you know, traditionally we eat it with beans and rice. Or I like this, and I'll put refried beans. But, you know, it depends on how you want to eat it. It's up to you. And then a lot of times, like I said, you can put that over egg noodle or just white rice. Absolutely delicious with just white rice. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to lay a few of these there. But what I'm going to try is right here. I want to go into the pan and just try it. So I could use that one to take my picture with. Excellent. Absolutely excellent. I don't think I knew these chips on here, but we'll keep them. If you like the content, if you would please like and subscribe, I'd be super grateful. Remember, this was an easy meal. Took hardly any time at all, just a couple hours to boil it, but it was you set it and go. Oh, I wanted to tell you about my pork. So I got my pork for $26.79. I got 12 pounds of pork. I made 3 pounds here for the chili verde. My husband has a creation today, and I always want to get him on camera, but he just doesn't do it. He made a pork jerky. This is absolutely excellent. So one of these days I'm going to have to get him to make a pork jerky, or I'm going to have to come in and make a pork jerky. And then I have a 5-pound pork roast over there. And the reason I'm saying is, for the price that I got is very inexpensive, and I have so many meals. That pot over there will make at least 6-7 meals for 3 to 4 people. And this is going to make at least 2 or 3 meals for a couple nights. So we're really good to go. But thanks, you guys, and thanks all you subscribers and all you new subscribers, all you beautiful family members. Bless you all. Take good care of yourselves, and we'll be back next time. But please try the chili verde. Thank you.